Good morning, church. Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting us to worship with you today. You have just watched a short video about Empowered Girls, a ministry and organization serving girls and communities in rural Tanzania. Many people watch our work and ask, why do you do this? Why girls? Why keep going when the challenges seem impossible? Today, I want to answer that question with one simple answer: because of Jesus. Everything you saw in that video begins and ends with him. Without Jesus, Empowered Girls is simply another non-profit. With Jesus, it becomes an opportunity to bring his hope into places where people have stopped believing change is possible. In John 11, Lazarus is dead. Everyone believes the story is over. Mary and Martha believe Jesus came too late. The mourners have accepted death. The stone has already been rolled into place. No one expects anything to change. Yet, Jesus walks towards the tomb. That tells us everything profound about God. Jesus does not avoid broken places. He walks into them. He walks towards grief, toward disappointment, toward hopelessness, toward places everyone else has given up on. That is exactly where Empowered Girls has been called to serve. Last year, I visited a village called Ndimi. Most children had never attended school. There was no proper classroom. The nearest school was a 15-mile walk. Few children gathered under a tree to learn. And when the rains came, they squeezed into a small Lutheran church building with no chairs. Many people saw only what was missing. Jesus sees what is possible. The local community and Empowered Girls came together. Parents carried stones. Community members contributed labor. Partners gave support. And today, there stands a 2-classroom school built from local stones and timber. Children who once learned under a tree in the scorching sun now sit in classrooms with hope. Now there is 153 children attending school. That is more than construction. That is resurrection. When Jesus is present, dead dreams begin to live again. Jesus did not say, I know resurrection. He did not say, I will explain resurrection. He said, I am the resurrection and the life. Jesus himself is the source of life. That changes everything. Sometimes we think resurrection only happens after death. But every day, Jesus resurrects hope. He restores dignity. He rebuilds families. And he gives people a future. One young girl named Kellen faced a future she did not choose. She was being forced into marriage while still a child. Many people would have assumed her story had already been written. But Jesus writes new stories. Kellen ran for 2 days without food and being rained on. Empowered Girls rescued her, and we returned her to school. She has just finished high school in May and is planning to join university this September to become a teacher. That is resurrection. Not because Empowered Girls rescued her, but because Jesus opened a door where everyone else saw a wall. When Jesus stood outside Lazarus' tomb, he did something beautiful. He called, "Lazarus, come out." He called one person by name. Jesus still does that today. He calls Jennifer, John, Tom, Kalaini. Each one has a name. Each one matters. Jennifer was also once a girl being forced to get married at 9 years old. Today, we got her a scholarship at one of the Lutheran secondary schools in Tanzania. And she dreams and studies and inspires others. She wants to be a gynecologist. When Jesus calls people by name, he reminds them they are seen, loved, and created for purpose. At Empowered Girls, we try to do the same. We don't see statistics. We see daughters, future leaders, future mothers, future teachers, future doctors, future servants of God. And one of the most beautiful parts of John 11 is that Jesus did not ask Lazarus to remove his own stone. Others rolled it away. And after Lazarus came out, Jesus said, "Unbind him and let him go." Resurrection is God's miracle, but people participate in it. That is what partnership looks like. Public schools in rural communities where we work once had little hope. Now they're producing university students. Those same young people are returning to mentor younger students. The community that once believed education was impossible is now celebrating graduates. The miracle continues because people choose to remove stones together. In Indimi village where we work, drought has made life incredibly difficult. Families struggle to feed themselves. Many mothers wondered how they would care for their children. Instead of giving up, women partnered with Empowered Girls. Together, we planted corn. They worked together. They harvested together, and families had food. Children stayed healthier. Communities discovered that hope grows when people work together. Jesus often fed people before he preached to them. Meeting practical needs is not separate from the gospel. It is one way we demonstrate God's love. People often ask, why does faith matter? Because Jesus changes how we see people. The world may see a poor girl. Jesus sees a future university graduate. The world sees a girl at risk. Jesus sees a leader. The world sees drought. Jesus sees a community capable of working together. The world sees death. Jesus sees resurrection. That is why Jesus matters. He changes what we believe is possible. Maybe today you feel like Martha. Perhaps there's an area of your life where you have already rolled the stone over the entrance. A dream, a relationship, a calling, your health, your future. Listen again to Jesus' words. I am the resurrection and life. He is still bringing hope. He is still calling people by name. He is still raising what others believe is finished. And he is still inviting ordinary people to join him. At Empowered Girls, we simply have the privilege of joining Jesus in what he is already doing. The invitation today is not only to support girls in Tanzania. The invitation is first to trust the one who makes all things new. Because when Jesus enters a story, hope returns, dreams return, communities are transformed, lives are restored. That is why Jesus matters. Amen. Thank you very much.